Today, much of the Northeast is cleaning up after getting slammed with a powerful storm packing hurricane-force winds and even torrential rain. ABC's Maggie Rulli is live in New York with a look at all that damage. Maggie?
Wendy, that storm came barreling up the coast last night, but now here in New York, things are getting brighter, and the major focus has returned to cleaning up and getting the lights turned back on. Cleanup crews are out in full force across the Northeast, desperate to get power back to the hundreds of thousands of people still in the dark.
A howling wind, heavy rain. The next thing, snap and crack.
The region recovering from that powerful storm that ripped up the coast on Sunday. At one point, 1.2 million people were without power. Others trapped on board this Amtrak train for 15 hours.
We stayed for the whole time without light, without electricity.
Hurricane-force winds slapped the coast, whipping more than 80 miles per hour in Rhode Island.
I was just about to go to sleep when I heard a loud explosion, a boom.
Sending this gazebo in Rockland, Maine flying into the air, toppling trees right onto utility lines, and slicing through houses in Methuen, Massachusetts. This one destroying a bedroom that belonged to Lisa Gomez's son. Luckily, he wasn't home at the time.
It could have been devastating. It could have been devastating.
Now concerns over cresting rivers and flash floods in New England, with some rivers rising 7 to 10 feet. The storm, fueled by the remnants of a tropical storm that hit Florida over the weekend, spawning at least 4 tornadoes. That community now also left cleaning up. Here in New York, the sun is back out, but high winds remain in many areas, making it difficult for crews to restore power. The governor of Maine even declared a state of emergency so that his crews could have the flexibility they need to get power back to as many people as they can as soon as possible. In New York, Maggie Rulli, Channel 2 Action News. Wendy?
Now, new at 4 firefighters put up this memorial to remember a firefighter and paramedic killed in a crash.
And we make the most out of every moment that we have here at the fire station.
Why officials say the tragedy is especially hard for those who worked with him.
Police say this thief is after pricey car parts. The car dealer is showing us what he's after and how he's able to steal those parts in less than 2 minutes.
24 hours ago, it was midwinter. Today, feels like spring with temperatures in the mid-60s. What's ahead for the rest of the week? Well, it feels like early summer. I can show you those numbers next.
Now your local forecast from Chief Meteorologist Glenn Burns and Severe Weather Team 2.
Everybody, hope you're having a good Monday afternoon. Well, seems like we jumped into a time warp yesterday, right? We were 30s and 40s, the wind's howling, the clouds are there. Felt just like the middle of January, and then we wake up today and it's like, well, spring's here, and we are currently 64 degrees, the dew point at 35 degrees, so that's some dry air in place. Humidity goes to show that at 34%, and the wind out of the west at 8 miles per hour. That westerly wind really warmed us up. We're in the mid-60s and upper 60s across metro Atlanta, 50s in the mountains, 58 degrees in Blairsville is our cool spot. I want you to check this out. Compared to just 24 hours ago, we're 22 degrees warmer here in Atlanta. That's pretty much the rule across northern Georgia, anywhere from about 18 to 22 degrees. So a big warm up. Now here's the satellite view. Not a cloud in the sky. There's a cold front that's lurking up here to the northwest. And here's the reason that we got so warm. Area of high pressure down here along the Gulf of Mexico. Notice the wind arrows coming in from the west and southwest, so a nice warming wind. So is this cold front going to come into northern Georgia and bring us some cold air? Well, make it down into northern Georgia. But if you look at the upper level wind pattern I'm showing here, the winds are basically running parallel to that cold front. So it'll sneak down into northern Georgia and pretty much stall out. And that cold air that's lurking up to the north, it's never going to make it down into northern Georgia. Look at tomorrow morning. We're going to begin the morning in the mid to upper 40s instead of those 20s and 30s like we saw this morning. And around noontime, we're already into the upper 50s to the lower 60s on our way to a high into the mid and upper 60s by your late afternoon commute. And tomorrow evening as well, look for clear to partly cloudy skies and comfortable. Temperatures will be in the mid 50s and 40s for the mountains. And Tuesday night at 11, we're in the low to mid 50s across northern Georgia. Now, tomorrow morning, we're forecasting a low of 46. Here's the average low 49, so in the ballpark. 32, that was That was ridiculous for this time of the year. And we're looking at high temperatures tomorrow afternoon into the upper 60s, back to the lower 70s. This is a lot more typical of where we should be. We're 63 today. Here's the average high at 69. That's where we should be, but we're going to be way above average as we get toward the end of the week into the weekend. Look at Wednesday, 73. How about 74 for Thursday? And, well, that's not Halloween on Friday. I don't want to mislead you there, but that's tomorrow. And we're looking at temperatures to be in the mid-70s through Saturday. Here's your weekend always in view. 74 degrees on Sunday. It'll be partly cloudy and warm. 76 degrees on your Saturday. And don't forget, we turn the clock back an hour before we go to bed. You get an extra hour's sleep this weekend. I'll be back with your evening outlook coming up.
Co-workers are remembering a man who spent decades serving in 2 local fire departments. He was headed from one job to the other when he died in a crash. Channel 2's Lori Wilson is live at DeKalb Fire Station number 22, where they are definitely feeling a big loss there. Lori?
Yeah, and it's not just here at Station 22, Wendy. Brandon Davis, 48 years old, a firefighter and paramedic, also worked for the department in Meriwether County.
News is traveling pretty fast. There was a lot of phones that were going off, and so there was information that was coming in.
Word traveled quickly Friday morning. The veteran firefighter Brandon Davis was killed in a car crash on his way to work in Meriwether County. He had just finished a shift in DeKalb County at Station 22.
Anytime you lose a member, it's tough. But for it happened so close to having gotten off and the tragedy of it all.
I'm Fireman Davis.
This video, shot just a few weeks ago, shows the man affectionately called Big Country, or BC, in a promotional shot for DeKalb Fire Safety Day. A memoriam inside the station to honor the man who had worked with the department 21 years. An asset to the station, not just for his personality.
He's bright and bubbly and always in the midst of the crews and whatever they did, however they did it.
Fire Rescue 22.
But also because of his paramedic status and versatility.
He could be on the fire engine, he could be on air and light, he could be on the ambulance that was here, and so he was a multifaceted individual.
A book now sitting in the station where he worked, signed by firefighters from all over, who wanted to posthumously say thank you for your service.
Can't take it for granted that next shift, the next day, the next hour isn't promised to us.
According to an obituary posted on McKibben and Sons Funeral Home, Davis is survived by an aunt, an uncle, and several cousins. His funeral is set for this Thursday at 2 p.m. in Luthersville, Georgia. Live in DeKalb County, Lori Wilson, Channel 2 Action News.
And you know it will be very well attended. Lori, thank you.
New developments: police in Cherokee County arrested and charged a teenager for a car accident that killed a high school student. Investigators say Cameron Childers was under the influence when he crashed in June. It happened on Hightower Road right near Ball Ground. Police say that Childers drove right off the road and then slammed into a tree. The crash killed Childers' 16-year-old passenger, Malon Thornton.
A somber day at one local college as students returned to school after learning about the murder of their fellow classmate. Floyd County police say Rickett Carter and Troy Coakley of Columbus drove more than 2 hours to meet with Joseph McDaniel Saturday morning. Officers say the suspect shot and killed the Berry College junior after an argument inside of his Rome apartment. Neighbors were surprised to hear about the shooting in their quiet neighborhood.
You don't know what people's into. You don't know if they're on drugs or what. So, I mean, it's just, the world's getting to be not a safe place to live in.
Funeral arrangements for McDaniel will be made this week.
A former Kennesaw State student who became the face of an immigration battle in Georgia can stay in the country for now. An Atlanta federal judge ruled Jessica Collato's DACA status will remain in effect. The Norcross woman is attempting to renew her immigration status while the White House pushes to end the program. The judge set a November date to hear the government's arguments to dismiss the lawsuit.
New at 4, when Metro City has a new officer to help protect you against vicious animals. This after 2 children were mauled. The other important work the officer will investigate.
And these women hugged and smiled on dry land today after spending 5 months adrift in the Pacific Ocean. The new hope they now have for the boat they say kept them safe from shark attacks and a bad storm.